up, Fabs and Besties? Today we are decorating Sommer's apartment. I want to give it a warm look. Maybe we'll change out the wallpaper for some exposed bricks. And I need to let in more light, so we're going to have to cut out some of the ceiling. Let's get started and clear this space. In order to change the wall, I have to pull out the island. So first I cut around the glue, and then we're going to just pull it out. It didn't cause too much damage. However, I will need to patch the floor because I'm going to extend the island out a little bit so our kitchen's a little larger. Let's glue in the new walls. You know what I was thinking? This might be a great time to extend this space by adding another folding wall. So let's take some measurements. Looks like we need it to be at least 14¼ inches tall and 11 inches wide. Cut foam board to those measurements to get a large rectangle. I cut a door. I cut a small foam board thick piece from the bottom. I cut out a window so we can let in some light. This is the outside of the wall and this side is the inside. I cover the outside of the wall with scrapbook paper, cover the inside to match the inside of the apartment. I left enough hanging over so we can connect it to the wall. Cut clear plastic from packaging, tape or glue it over the cutout. I take the cutout from the window and cut it into thin pieces to glue around the edge. Cut another rectangle of foam board, cover it with paper. We are going to end up gluing it to the outside. But first, take the part that hangs over that little extra piece of scrapbook paper, and we're going to line up these two walls, allowing the scrapbook paper to overlap and glue them together, using the scrapbook paper to connect them, allowing us to add on and extend this wall. And it can still fold up for easy storage. If you want a little more flexibility in that corner, just leave a little more space between the walls. If you look on the back, you can see I left about 1/2 inch. Cover the other side with more paper, going into that crevice. So now the wall can swing this way and this way. Cut another piece of foam board, cover with paper, so we can extend the floor. And let's patch the floor the best we can. I need to cut out part of the ceiling to let in more light. I make another floor extension for this wall, more than doubling the size of this apartment. And when we're ready to clean up, place the floor on the inside and close the walls. Glue on more paper baseboards. Glue 1/2 inch foam board around the door, making sure they are above the floor. So the trim around the door is actually helping to keep the floor down. Take the concrete floor that we made earlier and glue it outside the door. Add more trim around the door. Let's add a little wall here with a strip of white foam on top to make a balcony. I made sure to cover both sides of the foam board because we will see it when we are inside of the apartment. Let's take the kitchen island, remove the top. One side has faux cabinets and the other has some paneling. We are going to cover the side with paneling with white cardstock. Cut 2¼ inch strips of foam board to go around the edges. I cover them with a marble print paper. Glue them around the cabinet, cover with tape to make an island that we can move around. And we still have the cabinets on the other side. For stools, I am going to modify the ones we made in a YouTube live. The legs are just a little too short, so I remove them, glue on longer wooden dowels, add supports underneath to make some comfy bar stools, giving the dolls an eating area and a work area for the kitchen. On this wall, we are going to try to make a Murphy bed. Oh, and I see a little wallpaper there I need to cover. I'm just gonna glue in some scraps to fill in that space. Measure the wall which is about 14 inches tall and a little under 11 inches wide. So let's work with about 10 inches. So I'm going to use about 3 inches for the shelving, and then the bed will be about 7 inches. I cut 1 1/4 inch strips of foam board. I need 4 of those. I cut them at about 13 1/4 inches, cut 1 1/4 inch squares, and 2 3-inch by 1 1/4 inch pieces. We can leave them as is, or we can cover them with paper. To save time, I am going to cover the wall, use the strips to make a shelf. I cut some rectangles out of cardstock, and I'm just going to glue it down on the bottom for a little extra detail. I made 2, and they are actually about 3.5 inches. So my bed can only be 6.5 inches now if I'm trying to stay in that 10-inch range. I cut foam board that is 13 1/4 by 6.5, cut 2-inch rectangles that are the same width. Take one, place it at the bottom, begin building a box. Wait, before I glue it on, I need to turn it over to the back. Score a line a hair over 2 inches, being careful not to cut all the way through so it can bend. Then flip it over, and now we can start making our box. I cut some more cardstock to glue onto the bottom. We need another box at the top. To help with the measurements, I like to sketch it out, which helps me to cut the foam board to the right length. Well, more or less. Now, I chose to close mine in. However, if you want a little extra storage, you can just not add this piece here, add a few dividers, and you got some shelves. I'm just gonna add my cardstock, and I'm good with that. So now we made a piece that can move here, because the idea is that it's gonna be up like this, and then it'll lay down to make a platform for a bed. And these 2 pieces will be on the sides. Something like that. But we do need to make sure it's elevated enough to clear the floor, and we need to be able to have the mattress on top. So let's go ahead and make that. Let's measure this space. It's a little over 11 inches and a little under 6.5. Just to be safe, I'm going to go with 6 1/4 and 11. I cut a piece of foam board, add felt, fleece, or fluff, cover with fabric to make a soft mattress. Glue it on top, making sure to avoid that little cut seam there. The mattress added a little bit of thickness to this wall, so when we glue on the sides, it's going to be pushed forward a little. So I drew a little line where I need to glue it, matching the line to the back edge. Repeat on the other side to create this large unit. Measure across the top. It should be 10 inches because that's what we were shooting for, and I cut a piece of foam board that can go straight across, but only glue it to the side shelves so the center can still move. Glue the unit to the wall, making sure it will clear the floor extension to make a storage unit with a bed that can fold up onto the wall. I made sure the shelves hugged the bed pretty tight so the tension would keep the bed up when not in use. And we just carefully lower it for a bed, and then we can raise it and push it back in for a storage unit. If you find that it just won't stay up, you can always add a few pins at the top to keep it secure. For me, making this bed wasn't incredibly easy. I cannot say that I will attempt this too often. However, we did try to simplify the design as much as possible. It was just really important to make sure the measurements are correct because we need a tight fit through here, and this piece and this piece at the top have to be square or the bed will not lay flat. One end could end up a little higher than the other, and the mattress is a little on the flat side. So if you want a thicker mattress, you're gonna need those side units to be a little deeper to give you more space to hide the mattress inside of the unit. You can tell right here though that my mattress is not flush on the wall. You see that? It's a little deeper here than down there. So to try and fix that, let's attempt some popular painting hacks by putting drops of paint on paper in a variety of fall colors. Try not to put quite so much in one spot. This paint is on its way out. We have orange, mustard yellow. Let's throw in a little golden brown, gray, a little yellow, chocolate brown, and white. That is not white. That is gold. Here is the white. All right. And white. Then we're supposed to take something with a flat edge. I'm using some leftover clear plastic from packaging, and we're gonna gently scrape down the paint. Here goes nothing. It's kind of abstract. I think my hand was a little wobbly there, but let's let it dry. Paint a few coffee stirs. Glue the dry painting onto a leftover piece of foam board. Glue the coffee stirs around it to make a framed piece of art. I don't know, not sure if it came out the way it was supposed to. Place poster putty or blue tack on the back and place it onto the wall. Now let's see if that helps the bed to stay a little more level. Might have overcompensated. Let's make bedding. I found this fabric at Michael's. With the good side on the inside, I sewed together 2 pieces of fabric, leaving an opening, trim off the corners, flip it inside out, sew the opening closed to make a bedspread. Make them smaller and add fluff before sewing it up to make pillows. That painting is so loud. I either need to tone it down or bring in more color. I found this blanket shawl at Target for $5. I cut a piece, double fold the sides, and sew a straight line. Unravel the ends a little to make a fringe. This fabric folds nicely, so we're just gonna drape it over the bottom of the bed, adding more texture to this space and more color. But we're gonna need another floor extension. Here we go. Wow, this apartment is now pretty large, but I'm still not sure how I feel about that painting. And I would like to update the kitchen a little. So I printed off the refrigerator from our hidden kitchen, and we are going to glue that on top and do my best to smooth it out. My parents recently remodeled their kitchen, and all of the cabinets look like this. So maybe we can reface our cabinets with the same technique we used on the Murphy bed. I made a quick printable to make it a little easier for measurements. For some reason, it wasn't matching up, so I had to print it at 95%. I don't know, that could just be a me problem. But here is the microwave, and I'm gonna glue it on top, cut out the cabinets, glue the printables onto cardstock, cut out the center. If I want to make this recess deeper, I would just double the layers. Then cut them out, and we're gonna flip it over so we just have the cardstock side and the paper printable is on the other side. And we're gonna glue this onto another piece of cardstock. Cut them out to make new cabinet doors that we can glue on top to go from this to this. And you can always take it a step further and make the cabinets more 3D. And I even changed the door to a different printable. I found this tree at Target for $3. Let's place it right by the door. For a little touch of green, let's add some books to the shelves. We can add the candlesticks from our fall decorations from last year, along with our Hello Pumpkin sign. Since this room is for summer, we have to throw a few toys in here. Let's use the couch from our Extreme Makeover Dollhouse edition of the 1962 Barbie Dream House. However, this wasn't the neatest job. I have a little bit of fabric left over from the stools. This is a distressed faux leather. Let's measure it to the flat areas of the couch. Cut out a piece, leaving a little extra for a seam allowance. Once all the pieces have been cut, let's flip them over to the wrong side. Grabbing the edges at the corners, I lightly mark where I need to sew on the line, then check to measure if it was good. All right, so far so good. Let's add the arms to make a slipcover. There is a little extra room in there, but that's okay because I'd rather it be a tiny bit too large than too small. Once you're sure that it fits and all adjustments have been made, we can remove it from the couch, flip it inside out, place it on the couch to see how we did with our sizing. Okay, it's a little too baggy, and instead of gluing this to the bottom of the couch, I went ahead and hemmed it, so this is removable. Let's add a few layers of felt underneath. Still not quite right. So I am gonna glue it in place, and it will not be removable. And let's tuck in those corners, stretch and pull to glue everything underneath to give an old couch a new look. We can add another throw, a pillow, and a few of our pumpkin pillows from our YouTube Live. And there's also a short showing how we made these. Let's add one to the bed too. We can add a few of our cornstarch dough pumpkins from a previous video. I made printables from Bella's Halloween frog food video where she drew this movie poster. And I took it and turned it into a Halloween cereal box. I printed it on cardstock so I can cut out the poster and putty it to the wall. Now we have a nice amount of orange, which makes me feel a lot better about the painting. Cut out the cereal box, fold on the lines, then fold them all so the good side is facing out. Take the tab, glue it to the side, then fold over the smaller tabs, then the larger ones. I glued the ones on the bottom and I left the top open. Now our dolls can enjoy a festive box of cereal. I grabbed the coffee table from our Extreme Makeover Dollhouse video, cut a square of leftover cardstock, bend the edges. After going all the way around, I begin to pinch the corners, making a small tray. Place it on the coffee table. Add a few of our glue stick candles, also from previous videos, and a few miniature pine cones for a little table decoration. I'm loving the look of this apartment. It definitely has a fall vibe without being like super saturated. I added a few Harry Potter metal figs to the shelves, which feels very appropriate this time of year. This is a large space. It'll be very easy to film in. Plus, there's not a ceiling, so it'll let in a lot of light. And when we want to transform that bed, we can remove the pillows and the bedding, fold the bed up, and now we have a large blank space. One of my favorite things to add is a cozy fireplace. I cut out the size I want, then glue it on. For an instant fireplace, lay the bedspread down as a rug, turn the couch around, and bring over the coffee table to make a living room. We can place art above the fireplace or a TV. I printed our TVs on photo paper so they're nice and shiny. I even made one from Bella's poster. I trim off the white border, then I can attach it directly to the wall. But I decided to cut a small piece of plastic canvas, attach it to the wall, place a little blue tack on the back of the photos, then push it onto the plastic canvas. So it looks like the dolls are watching TV. And if we want to change the channel, we just change the photo, allowing the dolls to watch all their favorite shows. But now that the bed is up, we don't have a painting anymore. So I made another one. This one doesn't have any orange, and now I'm starting to miss it. So we're just gonna take this one and replace it with this one so we can put the orange painting in the kitchen. And when the bed is up, we can take the candlesticks and the sign and place them by the fireplace. And don't worry, it's not a fire hazard because it's not real. But I think Sommer has a really cute apartment with a little touch of fall. Wow, we totally transformed this apartment. We extended it with 3 more floors, and when playtime is over, it can still fold up for easy storage. And it's pretty easy to set back up. I hope Sommer enjoys her new space. And it's much larger than her last one. Thank you for joining us while we decorated Sommer's place for fall. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell and follow us on Instagram at MyFroggyStuff and the Frog Vlog. And we will see you next time.